Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about a very controversial rumor, a leak from a source that's kind of pissed off a lot of the internet, but apparently Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be 60 FPS on the PlayStation 5 Pro and 30 FPS on the Xbox and also the base PS5. It sounds like it's actually specifically being built for the Pro, and a lot of people are kind of upset. Now, I want to talk about this because the source itself is extremely controversial to the point in which they're actually banned from certain parts of the internet and stuff. So I want to break this all down because I'll be honest, I kind of believe these leaks, but I want to explain why. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, obviously, it is officially about 10 months until GTA 6 comes out, and I feel like people do not actually really fully understand the implications as to how much of a black hole this game is going to be. When this comes out, there is not going to be any other talk for months and months and months. Every game that comes out even close to this is absolutely going to fail. So it's coming out in May of 2026, and already they're predicting it's going to make $7 billion in the first 2 months. Now, to put into perspective, this is as crazy as these numbers are. GTA 5 is currently the highest profiting piece of art of all time. In fact, GTA 5 has made about $10 billion, but it took them 6 years to do that. So this game is going to be a juggernaut. But today, Dectice Seeds posted that apparently PlayStation specifically is actually assisting in the optimization to make sure it runs best on the PS5, and also that it has an exclusive marketing deal. Now, real quick, let me just explain something about this guy. I have talked to Dectice Seeds a lot. I've done podcasts with him and stuff. I think he's a very, very nice guy, but he has actually been banned from the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit and from other places. I think from Reset Era and stuff, because as much as he's gotten wrong, as much as he's gotten right, he's kind of the kind of person where he seems very confident, but some of his stuff ends up being off. So people have decided to say that his stuff, his track record is not 100%. But I will say that personally, when he's been correct, he has been the most right, specifically about PlayStation stuff. In this case, he actually says that where he got this info is a PlayStation engineer that's provided highly accurate, verified info several times in the past. So let's just take this with a grain of salt. Let's just assume this could be wrong, but let's sort of humor it, right? Okay. Grand Theft Auto 6 continues to hit 60 FPS while being optimized for the PS5 Pro with multiple graphics settings. Now, before anything else, I want to talk about what this means, because this is sort of a more recent development, specifically with this generation, with the rollout of VRR, variable refresh rates and stuff. And it's honestly something I kind of think is awesome, which is you see games doing stuff like this. Wo Chang Fallen Feathers, this comes out next week, and they released the fact that when you play it, you can play it at 30 FPS, 40 FPS, 60 FPS, or you can actually on the PlayStation 5 Pro 60, 70, or 80 FPS, meaning that the whole idea behind it is that with a lot of games, you're sort of going for more resolution, more graphics, or ray tracing or something like that, or a smoother frame rate. Now, they've done a lot of studies. It's something crazy, like 80% of people choose to have the higher frame rate or at least hit at least 60 FPS. So this stuff, I think this is probably what they're working on, is I think they're trying to figure out for the Pro to figure out, okay, how many styles of high frame rate, how good can we get the graphics without it looking bad, right? Okay, going back to it though, PlayStation engineers are assisting with the optimization due to the new tech being implemented and rolled out at the current date of May 2026. Now, there has been talks about the fact that, and this is public statements, Mark Cerny, the guy who actually designed and built the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 and the Pro, of course, has talked about the fact that they're trying to do some big software updates on the back end. They're basically trying to make it so the tools inside the console are just going to automatically be better. You're basically going to get more juice out of your system next year. A lot of people that are smarter than me are saying that this rollout is actually going to be the biggest software advancement of hardware that's ever been done, but we'll see. But here's the thing. It sounds like they're basically trying to prep it so that when that patch rolls out, this is ready for it. That GTA 6 is already going to be prepped and ready to look like the best game ever. They're also assisting on several other Rockstar titles that are rolling out in the near future. PS5 Pro update for 2026. there is talks about a sort of right now. Obviously, Red Dead Redemption 2 is such a strange thing. A lot of people talked about the fact that Red Dead Redemption 2 is not just a fantastic game, but Red Dead Redemption 2, it's massively popular. It sold something crazy like 37 million copies, but it never got any DLC. It seemed like basically they did the math, went, okay, well, we're making billions and billions of dollars off GTA 5. Let's just take all that Rockstar money that we just put from Red Dead, let's put that into GTA 6. That makes sense. But there has been talks about the fact that they want to do something else with this. There's talks about some sort of free or maybe cheap patch that's going to come out to the PlayStation 5 that makes Red Dead run at 60 FPS. Personally, I think that would be awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, the other part of this, as of right now, 60 FPS is being achieved only on the PlayStation 5 Pro. This could obviously change before release. Now, this is a thing that is pretty common, which is that the closer to release date, the better and better optimized it is. Early on, obviously, while you're still making the game, you're constantly trying to plug in new assets and tinker with stuff and add new mechanics and mess with the HUD. Frame rate is very, very inconsistent pre-launch. And there have been a lot of games. I've had a chance to talk to a lot of developers. There's even, you can watch public documentaries like the God of War documentary and stuff, that a lot of these games typically have pretty inconsistent frame rate right up until release. So there is still a chance that it hits 60 FPS, but it is, to me, a bit scary that right now, seemingly a pretty finalized build only runs at 60 FPS only on the PS5 Pro. That's a bit of a yikes. It is anticipated that GTA 6 will have multiple graphics options on the PS5 Pro at release. Also, the Rockstar Games PlayStation marketing deal is what's allowing and encouraging the collaboration on this optimization. Now, this to me is not the biggest shock. PlayStation, Sony, they very much have loved doing this style thing where instead of paying for an exclusive, they pay to just have the trailers advertise with this big tag that says gameplay recorded on PlayStation or looks best on the PS5 Pro, because historically this seems to sell systems pretty well. I think Sony has realized that right now everybody's buying the PlayStation 5. Xbox sales are absolutely in the toilet and it has been flushed, but they basically realized, okay, if we make a GTA 6 trailer that's just got even a PS5 logo in the corner, it is going to sell millions and millions of PS5s easily, right? But it does sound like that marketing deal that means that maybe, hypothetically, they could start revealing stuff specifically during state of plays and stuff like that, which would be interesting, or more official tweets only on the PlayStation Twitter account, right? Should see several GTA 6 PS5 bundles with the next marketing push. This info from a PlayStation engineer has provided highly accurate and verified info several times in the past. Now, I will admit that a lot of people are not happy about this. I have seen a lot of people screaming at Dectice Seeds, claiming he's lying, that this is wrong, that Grand Theft Auto would never just do a partnership like this. The PS5 Pro is not this juicy. And I find it interesting. I do see more people sort of celebrating it. GTA 6, 60 FPS, and PS5 Pro. This is why I bought the PS5 Pro. People saying like this. If this is true, get ready for the PlayStation money-hatted performance mode options narrative to spring up. Now, we have seen this in the past, which is certain games like, what was that game? Oh my god, Wukong? Black Myth Wukong was exclusive for a year on the PlayStation 5, and there was talks about the fact that they said, we're having trouble getting it to run on the Xbox Series S, right? Some people started to say, okay, PlayStation paid for exclusivity. To be honest, I still don't know, but there has been talk anytime a game runs better on PlayStation 5, people say, PlayStation paid them to make it run better on PS5, which in a way, I kind of think that is sort of what they do, simply because we have seen this a lot. PlayStation has been doing a thing. If you actually read the credits for a lot of games now that run extremely good on PlayStation 5, especially big AAA stuff, they straight up say in the credits of the games now, Sony is doing a thing where they send their own developers to work on a project. They go, we know the magic, we made the tech, we know how to make it, get every ounce of juice out of it. And basically, okay, it'll look better, that means it'll sell better. We win, because no matter what sells, they get a 30% cut, right? So this, in a way, I think that Sony is probably directly in the building helping on the development of GTA 6. But is this going to be real in the long run? Look at this. So you're telling me that I should sell my PS5 and get a PS5 Pro because there is no way I'm playing GTA 6 at 30 FPS. Could change, obviously, but if you have a solid TV, I would definitely recommend upgrading, especially considering you get trade-in money. So it's lots and lots of stuff like this. A lot of people, though, saying, is it coming to Nintendo Switch 2? Good luck. So glad I got a PS5 Pro. This is my thing, is that I bought a PS5 Pro at launch, and I'll be honest, I regretted it for a long time. The PS5 Pro is very expensive. It was $700 at launch. I think it's had a price increase. It's probably going to get another price increase because I think the tariffs are coming back soon, so that's going to increase the heck out of prices. But I'm sort of in a spot where I think that Sony is trying to figure out a way to make a bridge. I am thinking more and more that the PlayStation 6 is probably coming out in 2028, right? I have a feeling that right now Sony is sort of trying to make as many games as possible have a big leap for the PS5 Pro so that whenever the 6 comes out, most people are not buying a PS5 Pro. I think to Sony it's worth investing in that extra performance and stuff because every person that buys a PlayStation 6 is, even by those back catalog games, going to, by default, have that PlayStation 5 Pro performance. We actually saw this with the PlayStation 5 launch. A lot of people didn't get the PlayStation 4 Pro, but when you got a PS5, obviously you, by default, have that PS5 4 Pro performance. I think Sony is trying to future-proof stuff, and if this leak is real, I think we're going to see a big uptick of people buying PS5 Pros, obviously, but I think we're also going to see a lot of people feeling very, very pissed. People want the best performance possible, but also just in general, the PlayStation 5 does run good. The PS5 does run stuff extremely good. So if you say, hey, the next big game only runs at 30 FPS, I'm kind of curious to see how pissed or how satisfied people end up with that final product. But these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you feel about this rumor? How do you feel about Dectice Seeds? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And are you getting GTA 6 or a PlayStation 5 Pro? I'm genuinely curious. But tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.